Hola. I like to mess with everybody.
It's all right.
Welcome. I'm so happy today because I have someone that I've been trying to get into my office. And I've been driving him crazy with everything that is going on with my home right now. So thank you and welcome to Latin Financial to everybody. It's been a minute. I took a little break for a week and a half, but I'm back and I'm super happy.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. I know. I love it. So, Jason.
Yes.
Who is Jason? Tell me a little bit about you.
I mean, Jason, it's a lot to say. You know, I'm a man of a lot of trades. I've always been about service. I have multiple industries, multiple entrepreneurships that I've developed throughout the many years. But my primary focus right now is Alphaworx.
Alphaworx, you know, and I'm sorry, I've been driving you crazy with a lot of questions because I know that you are knowledgeable and you guide me and you tell me exactly what to do, and I'm super grateful for that. So tell me a little bit about your company, one of the many companies.
Yeah, well, Alphaworx, it's very straightforward. You know, we do roofing, we do siding, we do gutters. We also perform solar consultations for anyone who wants a genuine inspection and an evaluation. We give them the pros, the cons. We don't just sell service.
Yeah.
We render services to those in need. Anyone who genuinely wants to, you know, I don't push solar.
Yeah.
Right? If someone's interested in it, I can tell you the genuinely honest, you know, opinion if it's worth it or not for you, because not everyone's qualifying for that.
Do you think that it's like a misconception in solar? You know, because like I see throughout the years, and I would like to get more information, the proper information about it. I think there is a lot of question marks in how do you get, you know, obviously the proper company and how to do it, if it's beneficial for your home, if you really save some money. Can you tell us a little bit about that before we go into the
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to the solar side of things, not every home qualifies for solar. That's the first thing. You know, there's a lot of things that go on, the structure of the property, the sunlight that the home receives, you know. So when we do a full-blown assessment, at that point we determine if it's even beneficial for you.
Oh, wow.
You know, there's a lot of misconceptions, like you said.
Yes.
There's a lot of solar representatives or salespeople that are door knocking, very annoying at your doors.
And maybe it's they don't give you the right information.
And that's the one thing that Alphaworx is set apart. Education. We're not salespeople. We are educators.
I see you in a lot of social media right now. I knew about the company, and I love that, you know, as a Latino man, you are educating everybody. You know, that's a number one important things about everybody, and especially in your industry. You know, I see the social media the content is phenomenal. I told you that before. Not only because I like the way that you can communicate, you know, through the lens and the videos, and it's like, hey, listen, and you know, the examples that you give. Like, let's talk about the roofing and the siding right now. Sure. Especially in the past 3 weeks, that has been kind of chaotic here in the Northeast. I'm pretty sure and thank you for taking the time because I know that you're extremely busy. Can you tell us what are the mistakes that we as a homeowners tend to do when it's a snowstorm coming, and I think that we don't prepare enough?
Yes. So I think it's not so much a mistake.
Okay.
I think it's the lack of education.
There you go again. Yeah.
That's really what it is. If we had to call something a mistake, it would have to be neglecting your property. But how do you know if you're neglecting your property? Perfect example, we get a snowstorm. These ice dams that are being built on the eaves of the property right down the front of, you know, in the gutter line. What ends up happening is that sometimes your home doesn't have proper insulation, it doesn't have proper ventilation. That becomes an issue because once the ice dams are created, the heat is melting what's below, and that's going to start, you know, exiting anywhere it can. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, it'll just sit right through underneath the shingles.
And I see that, I drive by and I see that, and unfortunately my home it is that way right now.
So we got to take care of it first.
We do. Well, Alphaworx will. So yes, I got very worried. I come home, I'm always working, and I didn't even notice until a few days ago. I look back and I look up and I was like, holy cow. You saw that, automatically I called you, you picked up the call. I appreciate that.
Always.
But what can we do? Obviously make an appointment with you, call you, if you have any questions, obviously that's why you're here.
Certainly. So one of the things that homeowners can actually do is prepare themselves. How do you prepare yourself? There's an equipment called a roof rake. Okay. That roof rake is basically a shovel for your roof. Oh. As soon as it snows, the high, quantity that is just sitting on your roof, try to eliminate it as soon as possible. The first 3 feet of your roof line, it's the most important. So a lot of these roof rakes, that's why when you drive around in neighborhoods, you start noticing that some people have taken that measure. Yeah. That's a preventative measure that homeowners can take to avoid those ice dams.
I never knew even that existed. Imagine that. So, okay, besides that, obviously, people like me or that unfortunately we not knowledgeable. We own our homes and we care for our homes in different ways. But that's why you come in terms about all that information. And right now, because, it's been super cold, below zero, what can we do to do better,
Well, I mean, it's all preparation. And right now it's very challenging for a lot of homeowners to actually get up on the roof or even on a ladder. It's very unsafe.
Dangerous, yes.
So I don't even recommend homeowners to do that. I recommend you, whether you call Alphaworx, whether you call any other reputable company that's going to be able to assist you in a time of need, clear that snow, clear that ice. We would be able to put ice melt bags all over the line in order for that to not hinder your shingles and make sure that everything is proactive and it melts away. So this way it could be a preventative. The last thing you want to do is neglect it, because once you neglect it, it's going to start dripping water into your home. Now you're going to have water intrusion. That's going to lead into mold. That's going to lead into us having to come out or another reputable company such as Alphaworx to do the mitigation process. And not only is Alphaworx doing roofing, siding, gutters, and solar, but we're also extending our services into mitigation and the restoration of properties in the inside.
Love that.
So if a homeowner has the difficulty of, water intrusion because of the neglect of the ice dams that have occurred, they can always reach out to us and we'll mitigate that. We'll set up drying equipment so we can dry it out. We'll close everything out and make sure that everything is properly prepared and restored to preconditions.
You know what? It's kind of crazy because you mentioned exactly what's happening to my home. I saw that a couple of days ago. I contacted you last night. I saw a little bit. I never seen water. It wasn't much, but it was enough in the garage, enough for me to pay attention. I was like, where is this coming from? It wasn't a pipe, but it was. I got to talk to you about this. Obviously, as a small company that you're taking over everything. You're taking over Connecticut and other states, or no?
So as of right now, our primary focus is giving back to the state that gave to me.
Oh, that's man, I love that.
So we're serving all of Connecticut as of right now, from corner to corner. The entire Connecticut is being served.
Okay. Right now, to obviously all your information is going to be here. They can contact you and you can guide them through it. Let's talk about a little bit, because obviously the roofing, the siding, but let's talk about a little bit about you, because you as a Latino woman, man, I'm sorry. Right. Just I have so many females over here. What are they doing to me? You're a father. You're a man of God. Tell me how you got into the business in the first place and giving back to the community.
Well, quite honestly, I've always been a man of service, right? And having a family, having a wife, an amazing wife who's very supportive, we have always sat down and have discussed our options within the industry, within our expansion, within the services that we're going to render. So when I came across renovation, it's always been something that I liked. Mm-hmm. And at that point, it was like, you know what? Because like you said, I am a man of faith. we had a very challenging transition.
Tell me if you want to share.
So I come from managing 18 dental offices at a capacity, 200 plus employees. That was my career job. And I just transitioned cold turkey from that, knowing business, director of operations, handling every aspect of the business, into developing now what is Alphaworx.
How, I mean, it's good because you know the business, the professional from the back end.
Correct.
Running a business.
Correct.
But it's a total different,
it
industry.
It is. But service is always going to be the same. Doesn't matter the industry you're in.
That's true.
Service. And that's what Alphaworx is about. Alphaworx is about taking a homeowner with a struggling moment, with a damage on their property, with a mitigation need, doesn't know how to navigate the insurance process. That's where we come in. 95% of our work is insurance based.
I was just going to ask you the whole process. I mean, I think that some of the homeownerships, obviously, is a lot of information, but I think that they get scared in terms about something is happening with the home, or I got to deal with the insurance. So you guys prepare, everything in terms about helping the homeowner to go through all the paperwork, How do you deal with that?
Absolutely. That's actually a good topic. What we do at Alphaworx is we're fortunate enough to have an in-house adjuster. What does that mean? Most homeowners are not going to know what that means. That's basically like having a legal team on your side who's going to help you navigate, read your policy, and fight on behalf of the homeowner. So we're literally taking the burden away from the homeowners to make sure that they get what is rightfully deserved in the restoration process of their property.
I love that. And I didn't know. That's one of the reasons that you're here because, I run a business, but I don't want to be dealing when I get home with all the nonsense and all the red tape in terms about, the insurance. Obviously, you speak Spanish and English. And what else, give me, a few topics on what right now in the next week, what we can do to, obviously, we're talking about, a lot of people has asked me about, hey, listen, I'm having problems. Do you know anybody about roofing? And I was like, wait a couple of days because I have the perfect person to talk about it. What can they do right now to avoid broken pipe? Obviously that's most, I see the news and that's exactly what's happening to a lot of homes. Give us a few tips.
Yeah, so I think, just making sure that your house is properly, again, ventilated, insulated. That's very important. Making sure that you're running your pipes, making sure that your heating system is still functioning and it's properly functioning. We have partnerships with HVAC guys as well. So if something like that does occur, we could go ahead and get those plumbers, get an HVAC team. Anything that has to do with interior, exterior, we're going to be able to facilitate that. A lot of the homeowners, the tips for them, realistically, it's just taking care of those little small things within the home.
I think like you're talking directly to my mess. Yes.
But don't neglect the signs.
Yes.
Don't neglect the signs. Just keep in mind, Alphaworx offers free inspections. So it doesn't matter, just give us a call. We'll go out. We'll document everything. We are people of integrity. We take pictures before we even step foot on a roof to make sure that we have it fully documented. Same thing all the way around the house. There's a lot of, concerns within the industry. So we make sure that we don't cross that gray line. Everything here is black and white. And we educate the homeowners as much as we can. Once we see, because not every property is going to be the same. Once we see what we are working with or what the homeowner has at their disposal or at their hands, then we will be able to educate them, assess them properly. So please, I urge everyone, take advantage of the free consultations, the inspections, despite if you think or, whether you have an issue or you don't have an issue currently.
Yeah.
I always say, get an annual checkup. Just like you go to your doctor.
I love that because you know what, regardless if you had a bad experience, you got to protect your home, and the first thing, obviously you mentioned about the free consultation. Take advantage, invest in that, in a good company that is, here in the community for the community. thank you so much. I know that, I've been trying to get you here. After this, it's going to go to my home and, just double check. I'm going to take care of that free consultation. But I really appreciate it. Everybody who comes over here to the Latin Financial Podcast, they got to say something at the end in Spanish. It could be a quote. It could be, something that you wanted to tell others, because obviously you went from one industry to the other one. Obviously, I'm pretty sure it wasn't easy, but you are resilient, and I can tell by the way that you speak to me, and I love that energy that you have. What would you like to share with others?
In Spanish?
Sí, ahora viene todo en español, señoras y señores.
Bueno, sinceramente yo lo que diría es que si usted está en el negocio que sea, en mi propia experiencia, yo he puesto a Dios por delante en todo y Él ha sido bien. La transición mía fue muy difícil inicialmente, pero Dios me ha prosperado a mí a un nivel extraordinario, más que lo que yo pueda imaginarme, y a Él solamente le doy la gracia por eso. So, a todos ustedes que están viendo, todos los que están escuchando, les recomiendo, pongan la fe en su sitio y todo le va a salir bien. No dude, tírese al medio, go all in.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, well said. It gives me goosebumps. But gracias a todos ustedes. I'm going to put all the information so you can get that free estimate and give them a call, because they are here. They're working hard. The time is valuable. Invest in yourself. And thank you so much for, being part of Latin Financial.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to join you.
Gracias.
I appreciate it.
I love it.